What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's finally here, the episode that many of you have asked me to make. We are diving in, going behind the scenes, answering your biggest questions. And yes, reliving that dreaded moment where my time in the competition came to an end. We're talking episode 1 of Beast Games. You're gonna see what really went down, what the cameras didn't show, and my raw, unfiltered reaction because we're gonna watch it together. So buckle up because this is the inside look that you've been waiting for. Let's dive in.
I am standing on $5 million of real money, the largest grand prize in entertainment history. And competing for this $5 million are these 1,000 contestants. Come on in.
What you are witnessing is real. A record-breaking number of 1,000 players is currently stampeding this arena.
But only one of these 1,000 people you are seeing will have what it takes to beat everyone around them and take home this generational wealth of $5 million. Welcome to Beast Games.
We have to talk about that first shot. This is unlike any opener that MrBeast has ever done. Let's just be honest. The pacing was incredible. But what you didn't know is that it took about 8 hours to not just set up the shot, but to pull off this shot. Let me explain. As most of you know, especially if you're watching this video, Jimmy and his team are meticulous about any and every detail about every episode or anything that they drop. And right here, the first 40 seconds of this opening sequence shows you just how true this is. The problem started all the way back in the staging area of the hotel. We all got briefed and we were finally getting ready to get going. After meeting everybody, what they did is they put us in order on buses so that they could set up the shot for when it was time to get on set. And right there is where everything began to take forever. Forever. You try taking all of those people, all 1,000 of us, and try to get it right. It was like herding a bunch of cats. Between bathroom breaks and being hungry, it felt nearly impossible. So we arrive on set and we're told to stay in our buses for a couple of hours. We eat lunch, and again, we wait. Because you have to think, as they are loading us onto the set, they're loading us all the way across to make sure that this epic shot looks as epic as they had imagined it. Okay, so now we're going through security, and they hand us dinner. Once that opening scene was locked in, we sat on our platforms and ate dinner and sat around for another couple of hours. Then we got briefed again. It's impressive to see Jimmy get everything that he gets done in such little takes.
I grew up homeless, and now I want to help other homeless kids. And that $5 million would mean everything to help me get there.
If I win $5 million, I could use that to make passive income for the rest of my life.
It would provide me the opportunity to retire my dad.
The difference that money can make and how it can support a community.
Completely getting my whole family out of the poverty pipeline.
There's a lot of clowns that want to donate the money. I'm buying jet skis and gold chains.
Right off the bat, you see the intentionality of story and character building.
Be crazy. Everyone's so excited. Good luck, man.
This show is bigger than anything you could ever imagine. We've got the most players, millions of dollars of cash prizes on top of the $5 million. We're giving away a Lamborghini and a multi-million-dollar island. We even built an entire city. I'm MrBeast, these are my 5 friends, and what you are about to see will blow your mind.
Before the games begin, I have an offer for all of you. Most shows have a grand prize of $1 million. But on our show, we're gonna give away $1 million before we even play the first game.
This was epic, by the way. Let's just be real. Most shows will set you aside and film for several weeks for your chance to win $1 million. Well, before our show even got started, you could press a button and take your share of $1 million. That's never been done before.
Bring out $1 million. It's gonna take a second. $1 million is a lot of money.
Oh, and this takes forever too, by the way.
There's currently $1 million in cash sitting in front of me. Throw 10 minutes on the clock. You will have this 10 minutes to make a decision. Stay in the game or press the button on your tablet and eliminate yourself. Those of you that eliminate yourselves will evenly split this $1 million I'm standing behind. So If only one of you eliminates yourself, you'll become a millionaire. But if 50 of you eliminate yourselves, you'll each get $20,000.
I want you to grasp the magnitude of this set. I mean, it's the equivalent of putting 2 Walmarts together side by side and filling it with 1,000 people. Each platform had a GoPro, an iPad, individual water bottles, and we were hardwired in to make sure that every sound was captured.
So, be honest. Do you really think that you are that 1 in 1,000 player, the rightful champion winner of that $5 million?
Yeah, we really do think we're gonna win.
Or do you want to take the easy way out and walk away with money while you still can? Start the timer.
What will my family think if I say no to so much money?
Take the deal. Take the deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money.
I will not leave this podium. I will not go home until that $5 million is mine.
This guy also proposed to his wife immediately after
got
the
our
challenge.
first
It was
taker.
pretty epic.
As of right now, you're a millionaire. Oh, someone else hit it. All right, now you're only a 500,000 air.
I'm doing it. I'm out, bro. It's crazy though, bro, because imagine you're walking in a casino. You would never get that in a million years, Ed.
We are halfway through the time. Right now, if you press the button, that's 250 grand.
No. You're not gonna leave for 200 grand?
No,
$200,000.
I'll leave it.
Because it's not worth it now. I mean,
I'm not taking the bribe. No chance. I'm here for the long haul. To the end.
Do you think I'm gonna take the deal?
No.
No way, Jimmy.
This seems crazy.
No way.
You're pressing it? You're pressing it? No, why not?
It's getting a lot of people out right away, and that's less people we have to compete against.
This is too intense, man.
There's 2 minutes left. There's 2 minutes left. There goes another one.
I ain't taking nothing.
Bro, 90 grand's a lot.
Cute. Taking $5 million?
Under 1 minute remains.
Don't you dare. Get out of here.
I should not have done that. I should not have done that.
10 seconds.
I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I was tempted. But I knew that just like me, there were others that were gonna be tempted to press that button in the very last seconds. And that's exactly what happened. In fact, there were so many people that pressed the button in the final seconds that the counter they had placed before us actually crashed for a second. The truth is, yeah, I was there to win some money, but I was also there for the experience. And to think that all of that could just go away before it even gets started was something that I just couldn't do. I wanted to at least make it to the city. That was my goal. Well, let's be honest, the entire prize pool was my goal, but I really wanted to make it to the city. And I wanted the crew that I was riding with to make it with me.
Press it now.
Hey, y'all are crazy. Hey, that's so money. Hit it. Hit the button. No way. Are you serious? No way.
In the end, the total amount of button presses was 52 people, which means
Congratulations. You each just won a little under $20,000.
all 52 of you are now eliminated.
I have a feeling a lot of these contestants still in are going to regret not taking that money because this next game might be the most cutthroat thing I've ever done.
Oh, how true that statement is.
Should have took the money.
Would this money change my life? Absolutely. Do I want to see a pirate ship? Do I want to live in a city? So much more.
I'm ready to go to the city.
This is my favorite part of the whole episode. This is fantastic.
I'm ready to go to the city.
I do not belong here. I don't know how I made it here. I have no strategy. I'm done.
To the 948 of you that rejected my offer, there is no turning back. The Beast Games has now begun.
Now this is already the next day. Every morning our call time got pushed back a little bit simply because they wanted to make sure that we got enough sleep, that we got enough food, and that we were energized for when we arrived on set. But it was all that time for an hour's worth of filming. So they bus us back to the hotels, feed us, and then we gotta get ready to do it all over again tomorrow. Okay, so here's the crazy thing about this second challenge. Let's rinse and repeat from what happened the day before, but this time we don't have to worry about the actual order of walking onto our platforms. So we get to the platforms quicker, but we just gotta wait longer than we did the day before. While we were eating lunch, someone made an oopsie. See, the rules of this challenge while we were eating lunch were accidentally flashed on the screen before anybody had gotten briefed. In fact, not every contestant had even arrived onto set quite yet. Now, we didn't know if these were the actual rules of the game we were about to play, but I'm convinced that what happened is as they were doing some kind of talk through and they go through the things that they have to go through, someone presses this button not realizing that it was actually going to show us while we were on set. Yikes. Now this happens while most of us are eating our lunch, and some are still getting bussed to the location while others are just walking to their actual platform. See, while the rules were fast, what we didn't know is if our team was the long column or if it was the shorter row. So we did our best to attempt to have conversations, but how well are you going to be able to convince people that you don't know, that you have zero relational equity, to actually sacrifice themselves? But nonetheless, conversations began.
And for the first game, you will all be competing as teams. This row is a team, this row is a team, this row is a team. You get the point. Each massive row of 80 players will be working together. Yeah, but I wouldn't cheer quite yet. And that's because in order for your team to move on, someone must sacrifice themselves. Meaning that they will have to, at their own will, walk away from $5 million just so some of you can continue competing in these games.
You see, this is a real life example of what's known as game theory. What is game theory? So think about it like this. Let me break down game theory a little different. You've got two criminals and they get caught. They had both committed the same crime together. They put one criminal in one room and put another criminal in another room. They go to the first room and say, hey, if you confess first and give up your friend, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it so that you have zero sentence, you have zero punishment, you're gonna get off scot-free by giving up your friend. Now they're having these conversations simultaneously. What they say is if you don't confess, you're both gonna get the brunt of everything. If you beat your friend out in confessing, you're gonna get nothing, they're gonna get everything. And then you're forced to wrestle with, do I trust this person enough to know whether or not they're gonna give me up? And the truth is, they just placed a camera in front of us and captured it all for your entertainment. It was a thing of beauty. It's honestly what made Beast Game special, because it is this reality, but on a much grander scale. And this is gonna play out even more as you keep watching the season ahead.
Really thinking right now, I probably should have taken that 20K.
This guy was 2 platforms down from me, and I'll tell you more about him later.
If you didn't take the money to go home, why would you sacrifice yourself for the team?
I feel like I have to sacrifice myself. I just want people to know I really do care about them. And I wish more games were like that. So.
What she just said, though, was a widely spread sentiment. See, as the season progresses, as an outsider, you think, why didn't you take the money? Only one person wins. Do what's best for you. And although that's objectively true, you do get close to these people very quickly, especially if you had met them back in Vegas, where we suffered jointly. See, my line was always this: I have a number. We knew that bribes were gonna be imminent. They were gonna happen eventually. However, my compass was, even all the way back in Vegas, this: that whatever my number was, if it affected other people's gameplay, if it affected their ability to go on, I just wouldn't take it. That was the give and take that presented itself more often than not on this particular game show. And as the season progresses, you're going to see that time and time again, you were forced to make the decision. Do what's best for you in this moment at the expense of potentially somebody else, or stick to whatever moral compass you have and hope that it continues to carry you forward.
I'm not going. I know you're not going. I know he's not going.
We're gonna bite the bullets. I'm not touching it, please.
Someone for the greater good of the whole team has to leave.
What's it look like down that way?
It won't be me.
So what you're seeing here is after we were officially briefed, they gave us time to talk to our GoPros and to give them insight to what we were thinking.
Nobody? Holy.
Oh yeah, and guys, one more thing. This game has already started.
Now here's where things got dicey. I was in row 3. Our numbers, and consequently our rows or columns, were determined by the order in which we decided to go for flags back in Vegas. So if you haven't already, make sure to watch that episode where I break that down and show you how I got number 186. What I'll do is I'll put the link to that video right here, so you can even pause it right now and go watch that one. So what does that have to do with anything? Indulge me for a moment. The earlier you went out, the more aggressive you were in Vegas to go for the early flags, the more likely you are to be aggressive about your gameplay. Now, aggressive isn't necessarily a bad thing, but oftentimes, aggressiveness can also be tied into a little bit of stubbornness. I'm not gonna speak for everybody else that went early, but as for me, I was gonna be pretty stubborn with certain gameplay. What does that have to do with anything? What I believe is that the likelihood of the people in the first 4 to 5 rows self-sacrificing was gonna be far less than the likelihood of someone in the latter rounds or in the later rows actually doing that, realizing I'm probably not gonna make it far once the game starts to go in a certain direction. And that's exactly what happened. You see, they set the timer for this particular challenge to 1 hour. They expected it could have taken upwards of an hour to get a decision made. However, when you combine the aggressiveness of the room, when you realize that many people already knew the rules, conversations had already started, within the first 10 seconds of this challenge, there were 5 rows that had already made decisions and had somebody who would have self-sacrificed. So the pressure was on. The truth is, this challenge didn't last more than 2 minutes. Which is an insane concept if you think about it.
And it will not end until the last 3 rows to eliminate someone will all be eliminated together. Only 9 of the 12 rows will be moving on.
Come on! Click it! Come on!
Oh, whoa! That was quick!
Let's go! Stay!
Congrats! Wait, come on, quick! Please!
What's holding you back?
Somebody else might do it.
Somebody! If you're over the age of 70, push the button!
What do we do? Come on!
Baby!
Don't forget me!
Come on, guys, and we're all gonna go! Press it!
You see, they did a phenomenal job at blocking out the clock here. The emotion that this takes you right back to that moment. I just give up, that guy's it. Look how tight it is between this. I'm not necessarily sure how it broke down this way, but at the moment it felt like it was between rows 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in this particular case, when she pressed it and somebody in my row pressed it, it left rows 1, 2, and 4 to be eliminated. For me, it's what Jeff said. It's kind of hard to picture somebody self-sacrificing when just moments ago or the day before, they had the opportunity to do the same thing but walk away with money. In this particular case, they're self-sacrificing for the desire to be a hero with no promise of any extra money. See how right when she's about to press this, there are 3 rows that will still white behind her? I mean, it was a matter of milliseconds. Rows 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. And 7 and 3 pressed it almost at the exact same time. Okay, look.
You're welcome! Win for your family, please!
Capturing that shot, by the way, was pretty epic. Following him to the ground. Good job, Cameron.
We made it! We made it!
Our whole row was just eliminated. My wife is still in there. Only takes 1 person to win that $5 million, not 2. Good luck, babe. All the kids and I will be rooting for you at home.
I try not to cry.
Bro is not getting in trouble today.
You took one for your team.
I did. All of these people deserve a chance to win.
Whoa. How you feeling?
I'm sad.
Everyone in your row, give her a round of applause for sacrificing herself.
Here's one of the questions that I've received the most. How far was the drop? It was about a 12-foot drop with about 4 feet worth of cushioning or pads between the ground and where you actually land.
Oh my God! Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, is it even possible to drop 80 people at the same time? And the answer is yes. Drop the row.
Left. Boom.
Whoa! That is crazy! Oh my God. This row.
Now, how awful was it for rows 1 and 2? Because row 3 went out almost immediately and they were dropped. But rows 1 and 2 were given dinner, then we stood up, then we reset, and then they were dropped. If that were me and I had gotten eliminated, I would want to be out of there as quickly as possible.
Also, couldn't find someone to sacrifice themselves, so. Oh, there they go! I think we mix it up for this final row. Hey, whoever's in the back, just start hitting random buttons. All right? Oh, this is terrifying! Hey.
Oh my God!
All right, that was diabolical.
Well, there's just one left.
Any last words?
I am not weak. That's why I got number.
All right, and with that, this challenge is officially over. They should have got someone else.
I'm excited for another challenge, but also nervous.
So it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be stressful, but it's gonna be over soon, and we're gonna make it to the city, baby, let's go.
The city she's talking about is no joke. This massive building you're seeing here is only the beginning. Welcome to Beast City!
We got to see this while
At the end of this episode, contestants who progress will move into their very own city. On top of that, later this season, they'll be fighting for their spot on helicopters to a multi-million-dollar private island, which one of them will be winning. They'll also be firing cannons on real pirate ships. There's monster trucks. They'll run for their lives from real Navy SEALs. And they will have to decide if a train eliminates their closest friends. And of course, they will have opportunities to win millions of dollars on top of the grand prize. However, not all of them are confident.
I guess the sad reality is not everybody can win. I think the odds are stacked against me. I've seen my competition.
The reality of it is that people are going to have to go. And I understand that at any moment it can be me. The fact that it hasn't been me really has a lot to do with luck, but that's the name of the game. And that's why we're here, to get down to one sole contestant who's going to take home the $5 million.
I have a 4-month-old son. My dad, he's a military vet.
I left my wife and my 3-year-old son.
But I want to fight for his future. Nothing I won't do, no place I won't go.
I will do anything it takes to win that money.
I've made amazing friends. Watching them get eliminated, it's brutal. And sure, each round we all get closer to winning, but moving on means saying goodbye to some really good people.
Also, the people putting the X's out always took forever. Like forever.
Are you guys ready for the next challenge?
Okay, so here we are, finally, day 3, the little red rectangle. So you walk in and things are just a little more tense today. Something was different. Day 3, baby.
All right, I'm gathering these games might be a little stressful for you. So for this next game, let's introduce something a little more familiar.
You're walking in and they're saying, do not touch. Make sure you don't touch. Don't look in the bins. Don't look in the cubbies. Don't do anything. Just sit on your platform and chill.
You'll notice attached to each of your towers are some colored boxes. Inside these boxes are blocks.
Notice how these particular attachments were not there in the previous challenge. That again was because it was a completely different day. Now here's my theory. The day before, once everybody was officially dropped, they had said, everybody hang tight because we're going to get ready for the next challenge. Now, mind you, it was already late, but everybody was ready to go. Like, we were willing to make this thing happen. But none of those cubbies were attached to our platforms. And so my theory is that initially how it was mapped out to be is that challenge 1, 2, and 4 was supposed to be 3. So the first 3 challenges were all going to involve bribes, and the 4th challenge was going to be the first skill challenge, which is that puzzle, the tower that is about to be explained to you. So again, the next day we walk in and all of a sudden these things are attached to our platforms. I mean, like, screwed on.
Your goal is to stack all of your blocks on top of the red starting block within 10 minutes. I don't care how you do it, as long as every block is stacked before the timer hits 0. At the end of the 10-minute timer, if any of your blocks are not stacked on top of that red block, or your tower falls over, you'll be eliminated. I will only be eliminating the first 100 towers that fall over.
So this is what they didn't tell you or show you in the final cut, because the truth is, it wasn't even necessary. In that 4th cubby, the red one, it was covered, but inside was a red ball. And the challenge was to go this way. We were going to stack up our towers, and after the 10-minute mark, at some point, they were going to flash the lights red, and we were going to be allowed to take that red dodgeball and throw it at anybody's tower that we pleased. You could be aggressive about it, or you could just say, you know what, I'm going to hold on to this and I'm not going to throw it at anybody. So during our time of strategizing, we're mostly kind of freaking out about the dodgeball. Like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to set up our towers so that it gives everybody the least likelihood of actually hitting us if they wanted to? Now, because I was in row 3, I was perhaps in the best position to not have to worry about the dodgeball as much. Why? Because rows 1 and 2 had already been eliminated. No one's behind us. Row 4 has been eliminated, meaning that between us and the next possible group of people that could throw it at us, there's an entire row of people. So about 12 to 15 feet between where we were and where the next group of people would have been. So the entire time that we're strategizing, that we're talking before the game actually starts, we are focused and we are thinking about what are we going to do when people start throwing dodgeballs. And so you're not really thinking about how hard building the tower is going to be. You're thinking, how do I make sure that somebody doesn't knock mine down? So most people in my row decided to put it on the outside edge because the trap door was a little bit uneven. The outside edge was sturdy, there was no movement, and it was going to give you the longest distance if anybody in row 5 wanted to throw their dodgeball at us. You could kind of protect yourself between them and where you set up your puzzle. You see, they made it very clear. You could place your puzzle, your tower, anywhere.
I'm shaking. You shaking, bro?
You are free to begin once the timer starts. And go! We're going until 100 of you are eliminated.
Here it goes slow.
So far in these games, this exact room was deafeningly loud. But somehow, even with over 700 players remaining, in this moment, it was nearly dead silent.
And this was the quietest this room had ever been. The anxiety comes right back in this moment. So what I did is I began to build my tower. My plan was to set it up on the outside edge closest to the cubbies. And before I transferred everything over, I had built a sturdy stack of what the puzzle should have looked like over to the side. And I was kind of transferring 2 rows over at a time. And I'm so glad that they didn't feature me in this moment. Because what had happened was when I placed the half moon shape on top. When I turned around, it rolled off, and when I went to grab it, everything kind of scattered. The crazy thing is 2 of my pieces landed in the cubbies, which were safe. But they had told us, if any of your pieces fall off of your platform, you are done. It could fall within the 10 minutes on your platform, and if it stayed on your platform, you were fine. But if it fell outside of your platform, it's almost as if it had fallen into the abyss. Now, the truth is, we're only talking about a 4-foot difference, so I could see my piece right in front of me. But the reality is they told us that we were gonna CGI this thing and make it seem like we were 50 feet up in the air. I was so afraid I was like one of the first ones.
Hey, my leg.
No! Oh no!
You see, what happened to him is exactly what happened to me. My half moon piece rolled right off the top.
Are you okay? Oh no. You still had more time.
Oh my God.
Make as many squares as possible. So it's flat, 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 so it's less height. How does mine look? Do you see any weaknesses?
Top
Very
left.
solid.
Yeah, you want to go over there because it's leaning a little bit.
To
Yeah.
the left?
No, no, no. You want to go over here. You want to counterweight it. Yeah.
Mine's done, but I can do.
him.
No!
Why would you do that, bro?
I decided to go as strong as wide.
Do you mind if I poke it?
I would mind if you poked. I do not want you to poke it.
Okay, I won't poke it then.
They're laser focused.
I know, I can finally hear you. I'm gonna let you handle this one.
Why do I gotta handle it?
You got it, babe. Come on. Trust yourself.
I don't even know. I don't even know if I still... Can you hand it back?
I can't. Sorry. Can't. Sorry.
Mine just happened to be a half moon piece.
I think this might be the setup for me. No, brother.
It's tilting over this way. Put it more towards the right side.
This side?
Center it out, yeah.
This?
Right there. And hold it first.
So here's what's crazy. If your tower after the 10 minutes had only stayed up something like 10 seconds, you were going to be safe. That's how many people's towers fell within the 10-minute period. This was way harder than it looks. These little pieces were so light, so you had to try to be compact, but none of us were ready for what was about to go down.
Attention, contestants! Do not move! I repeat, do not move. If less than 100 towers have fallen, we will continue until 100 towers do fall. And so while we're counting how many towers have fallen, if I were you, I would stand very, very still.
So now the review process begins, and you have to think, there are thousands of cameras and 1,000 different angles to kind of pull from. They're timestamping, as it was said there, they're timestamping every single dropped tower. This took something like 2 to 3 hours to inform us. We were here for a minute, y'all, just chilling.
hoping that there were 100 other towers that fell over before mine.
I'm scared to move. I just...
So every time a tower fell, they would turn your platform color red. So they come out and they tell us exactly what MrBeast told us, that there were more than 100 people that their towers had fallen. And so there were more than 100 red platforms that were going to be reversed.
Here's a little behind the scenes. This is our control room with all the guards. And they're not going to stop until they've timestamped every tower fallen using our world record holding 1,107 camera system to find out which 100 towers fell first and who is going home.
I think you're totally good. You're definitely, like, good.
Don't say it to me.
Can I have your attention? We needed 100 eliminations to move on from this challenge. And after reviewing footage from over 1,000 cameras in this room, I have a verdict. Over 100 towers have fallen, which means if your tower is currently knocked over, you might still be in.
There's so much tension. Even me, my legs are shaking.
On the count of 3, I'm going to reveal the eliminated players. Are you ready to see who's eliminated? 3, 2, 1, go!
They make this grand reveal only for us to realize, like, I knew that the guy next to me, although his had fallen and his was red, there were people in front of us that their towers fell before his and theirs turned white while his stayed red. I'm like, something's wrong. This is not right. We got to figure this thing out. And then one of the producers, the main producer, comes out and says, guys, there's been another issue, so we're gonna have to reveal again because there are still more than the 100 that we initially had told you. And so we're all kind of waiting around, and at that point I'm like, dude, I know yours is one of them. You're clear. I know for sure if they're safe, you're gonna be safe. We're good to go. And in that moment, it was like the loudest roar you had ever heard, because so many people who thought that they were out realized I'm still in this thing. And so I was so pumped for number 187. He was going to be able to move on. There I am right there. You see the misery on my face? There I am.
If your tower is white, you move on to compete for this money. If it's red, we're gonna have to drop you.
So back to this guy. When his tower fell, I've never heard someone whine so much. He whined the entire time. It didn't matter who you were. If a producer walked by, he was whining about it. Jimmy and Mac and everybody, Carl, they had all walked by, and he's trying to convince them, guys, it wasn't fair. I had put it in the center of my platform, and look, every time I stepped, this ground wasn't even. There was no shot I was gonna win. And they're telling him, man, you could have put it on the outside. There were plenty of other things that you could have done, even though your platform is not as even as you are claiming. I mean, he was whining the entire time. If a janitor had walked by, he was probably gonna try to convince him to see if he could do anything about keeping this guy in the game. He cried the entire time, to the point where the other people around us are just like, give it up, bro, you're out. Just like, go out with dignity. He just couldn't get over the fact that his trapdoor was uneven, and it was because it bounced around for a little bit that it fell. Now, what was even crazier is at one point he's trying to convince one of the guys that this was unfair, and because he's jumping around so much, that's what knocked 187's tower down. And he wouldn't like apologize for the fact that if 187 had gotten out, it was going to be 188's fault.
There's a lot of people who thought they were out who are still in. like some people who are out and didn't realize they were.
That's God. That's God. I told you.
We made it to the next round. Let's get after it.
I'm just crying a little bit. I'm in. Noah's gone though. So that's harder. That's harder. But I'm in.
Will you join me in saluting the people who are about to be dropped? Everyone salute.
Guys, don't worry. The first few minutes of the fall are scary, but after that, it's totally fine.
Drop them! Whoever remains after this next challenge will officially move into our city.
Let's get to the city, all right?
All of you have made it very far.
Let's get it, baby.
It would be a shame to go out here. The only problem is the city has 500 beds and there's over 600 of you.
No.
We need to get rid of over 100 people. So we're gonna play a little game. For this game, you will again be competing in a team. But this time, it's the row to your left and right, which means they will vary in number. What do you think I'm gonna be having you guys do?
Bribe.
It's gonna be a bribe.
A bribe.
That is correct. This game is the final hurdle between you and moving on in this competition. I will be offering bribes, and whichever person accepts it will eliminate themselves and their rows. The bribes will keep going up, and we will keep eliminating rows until we have 500 people. All you have to do is take your hand, push that button, and you will instantly be brought briefcases full of money. Almost immediately, the room erupted in chaos, and people started to introduce one another by their name.
My name's Jonathan.
Alejandro, that's my name.
And not their number. Because in this final game, the only way to move on is by working together.
So at this point, I've been eliminated, but here is where I find my comfort. What I don't know is if Challenge 4 had been Challenge 3, if I would have been able to go on. It could have been a different day, I could have been less tired. I would never be able to explain to you all the little nuanced things that occurred why my tower fell. See, the night before, we had gotten stuck at a particular hotel. We didn't get to bed till later. Again, all of that stuff doesn't really matter. In the moment, I didn't show up. But here's where I find my comfort. Even though it was my fault, everything, fell on my plate. I got out on my own accord. I know that I wouldn't have made it to the city because if I had made it past the towers, someone in my row took the bribe. So I wouldn't have made it anyway. So even though the tower took me out, it seemed as though my fate was sealed. I not only wasn't going to the city, but I was not going to be the winner of $5 million. Nonetheless, it was the tower puzzle that took me out, and I couldn't have been more grateful to have been a part of this experience. Thank you to MrBeast and his team, Mystic Art. I'm so thrilled. Amazon Prime, thank you again. One of the greatest experiences of my life. And if you haven't had a chance to watch it, the first 3 episodes have been linked to MrBeast's second channel. So you can click on one of the links below and watch episode 1, 2, and 3. And then if you'd like, I would encourage you to go ahead and get Amazon Prime and watch the rest of the season. Because in my opinion, although I'm obviously biased, this is the greatest reality game show that's ever been on TV. And I love them all. But this one, absolutely epic. And the finale, you don't want to miss it. It was spectacular. It turns out to be something more than you could have ever imagined. But make sure to log on to Amazon Prime, watch the rest of the season, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel where we are on a journey together. I hope to see you in the next one. And here's the thing, maybe you'll see me in another Beast video. Who knows? Catch you in the next one. Peace. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. I'll see you over there. Peace.